show us some love on social media. Follow us on Instagram by searching for _NoFreeDrinks, or you can even like us on Facebook. Choose your poison.
Welcome back to No Free Drinks. Hey, this is Maddie, and I'm here with my wonderful, wonderful co-host,
Lena D.
And it's Wesley. I just got finished listening to Yin Yang Twins, so if I'm turned up, don't pay attention to me.
We're just going to
yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
It's too early for this. So thanks for coming back. We're really glad that you're so ridiculous. Like I was saying, so today we're going to talk about a numbers game. If you're anything like me, math was your favorite subject in school and you lived for numbers. If you're a normal person, then I'm sorry that I rock and you don't.
Oh, damn.
Just joking. Just joking.
It's like for the mathematically challenged, you suck.
If you don't know what time train B was going to arrive in Brooklyn when train A left at this time, I'm just joking. So yeah, this is going to be a fun episode. Can't wait to get into it. So let's get started. Yes, just from what we're thinking is dating a numbers game? I'm going to say it is. It absolutely is. One of my favorite TED Talks. If you don't listen to TED Talks, you for real need to get your life together.
Yeah.
They're absolutely wonderful. But there's this one TED Talk called Hacking Online Dating. I think that's the name. If not, then we'll post the right title in our notes.
Yep.
And you can find them online. Or I'll just post it on IG and get at me. But yeah, so this one wonderful woman, Amy Webb, she talks about hacking online dating. And one of the things that she does is she collects all this data and she breaks down the demographics and the numbers of who is actually going to be eligible for her to date and what it's going to take for her to find someone. And I think it's one of those things where because there's so many people out there, we get so overwhelmed and we get comfortable because it's just like there's so many fish in the sea. Like, I'm just going to take this and date everyone who comes along, even if they might not be eligible. And then we have these horrible experiences and decide, I'm out. Fuck it. It's over. I don't want to do this anymore. Pretty much.
So I think it's definitely been a product of sort of like everything that's happening around us and then how people have also changed their dating approach. So because apps enable you to like connect with so many people easily, it has become, I think, more of a numbers game because people are saying, oh, to your point, I can easily connect to all these people. Let me just go see if I like it. Whereas like when people were actually having to meet in real life, I don't think there was really that much of an element of like, you have to go meet all these people.
Yeah.
Because it was harder to meet all of these people in real life.
Yeah. You could only talk to like John from up the hall or the
like
guy that makes your sandwiches.
If you happen to go somewhere and you met a couple of people and like you exchanged numbers and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll talk to these two people that I met when I went out.
That's crazy.
But I think there is also the fact that the apps make it so easy that it's easy for anyone to say, yeah, I'm just going to swipe right on anybody that I see as long as I think they're attractive or as long as, I don't know, like there's something about them. Like I've actually had people that I've come by in conversation say, well, I was just bored and they were interested in astrology. So I figured I'd go on a date and have a conversation with them.
Where they do that at?
Apparently people in New York City do that. So, and then at that point, it's like, well, why would you even waste somebody's time to just go on a date because you were bored and wanted to talk about something that they said they were interested in talking about in their profile?
Astrology, though? Come on. That changes like every day.
Shut up. It changes like every day.
Wait, yeah, you don't get your daily whatever horoscope or some shit like that? And it's always some other crazy stuff that could have like some kind of leanings into the day or any other day that you've had. Like today, these are your magic numbers. And then like two of them happen to be like the number. And then they tell you like, oh, today's going to be a great day where your boss is going to, absolutely shower you with X, Y, Z and whatever. Like shower me with what? Like what?
Praise, affection. I hope.
Yeah.
If anything else, you need to listen to our other episodes.
But even then, I think it's like the point that she found a guy that was interested in astrology.
Off of that one thing.
She was like, oh, let me just go talk to him.
Nah, chill.
I might end up liking him a little bit more than just a friend or something. And so I'm sort of against falling into that trap where obviously the person that's on that dating app, there's a 50-50 chance that they're actually looking for a meaningful connection, but then you're just wasting their time because you're bored. So
exactly.
I'm kind of like, I feel that, yeah, it's, some people take it as a numbers game and they'll just like liberally swipe right as they're taking a shit.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to
you know, it's
Brock, if
funny.
you're listening.
Yeah, like it's funny though, because like he said that and made me laugh, and I caught myself actually doing the same thing, like just swiping and taking shit. Like, oh, I'm bored. I could be reading the news, I could be doing, but I'm just
Judge
like
not.
just
Rapid
like,
fire, just
rapid
swiping.
fire, like thumb on fleek.
Stupid.
That's terrible. But so in that case, like if you have that sort of mentality where it's like, well, as the party that's not going to vet these people, you're assuming that the other person is vetting you. But then what if they're also liberally swiping while they're taking a shit?
Exactly. I think that's why I appreciated her TED Talk so much.
I'm just
because
saying, love
she
by
breaks
bowel
it
movement.
down. Really?
Yeah.
You know, I was taking this shit this one day and I saw your face and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good face.
I had to give you that super like. I had to give you that blue
and then
star.
I saw that you were a Gemini and I was like, yo, we in there. What?
Yeah.
So now we connect on our astrology and how we took shits to connect with each other.
There you go.
That's just wrong. And if that's your love story, more power to you.
But
Love by BM.
No.
That's the best love.
Considering that now, or the numbers factor, are there any rules that you would say like that you have in relation to your dating where it's just like any numbers related rules?
Man, if I type to you like 5 messages and I get like 1 word messages like yes or okay or exactly, man, I'm unmatching your dumb ass.
So what is this, like a Word document where you're doing a word count? To be
Yeah.
like, I sent you 72 words. You sent me back 3.
No,
ma'am.
I'm just saying if I send you like messages, like 2-line messages, and then like I consider like the 2 lines like messages. Like I say you 2 lines. So by the end it's like 10 lines, right? And then you give me 1-word answers. Girl, bye. I ain't got time for you. Like, come on. If I was more interesting than that, you probably would have been like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. You've been engaging in conversation with me. Not this bullshit, yes, okay. Or some other word that you're
Sure.
answering the one question that I asked you in the whole story that I just gave you about how cool I am. Man, fuck you. I'm out.
yeah, like
Tell them why you mad.
I'm mad because nobody wants to engage in conversation.
But I can see why like you would get into that trap where like, let's say if you're saying dating is all about just getting the numbers up and you're just going to happen to meet the right person that you want to be with, you're going to get stuck with a lot of those situations where the other person doesn't even want to talk. Like they're just like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I have these 12 other people in like my DM right now and I'm struggling to have a conversation with you, somebody else I'm having a better conversation with. But then that one person that maybe took a little bit more time to vet out who they were going to swipe right on and they're actually looking for a meaningful connection, that's when it starts breaking down because the other person is kind of just like looking to get more numbers and then there's another person that's actually looking to make a genuine connection. And
well, you're not that fine where like you fine enough to stay on the roster if you don't want to talk. You can get unmatched that quick.
So I'm also big on unmatching,
Shit.
but it's not so much in the number of words in your
I
communication.
wouldn't say number of words, but the response. Like, yeah, okay, and sure. Those are just like bullshit responses. Like that's the answer. The sure is the answer that you give where your parents ask you, hey, are you gonna take out the garbage today? Yeah, sure. Like those are the kind of answers that you get. Like that's not the kind of answer that I'm trying to like engage with you in a story where I'm just trying to talk to you about like a little bit about life and you're just saying, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, bullshit. Like you gotta go. Time to go.
I mean, you
Bye.
got to vet them somehow, right?
Yeah, that's my vetting. Like if you don't want to engage in conversation, bye.
Yeah.
Why'd you even hit yes? You should hit no.
Mine is similar in terms of the conversation. I do base it on the conversation, but for me, it's if the conversation doesn't go past, if it's not consistent for at least 2 days, and none of like we haven't brought up exchanging numbers, then I'm quick to unmatch it.
It's like at that point, it's like, you know, I was good with you there. I don't really care if you're
pretty
not,
much.
Like,
and it's similar to your point where it's like if I'm putting myself out there and I'm trying to keep this conversation going, and you're giving me those half-assed responses,
yeah, I'm good.
Or the conversation just dies, and then we end up with the "so how was your day?" messages. Then I'm like, nah, we good.
Yeah. If I could give you a finger through this phone, I would do it.
You can now.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can.
Emojis.
Yeah.
Between that and I'm really big on having those phone conversations. I've realized from talking to some of my friends that a lot of them aren't big on actually speaking to somebody that they match with online over the phone before meeting them.
Yeah, but why?
But I'm like, no, I want to exchange numbers with you and actually hear your voice first, and then decide if we still connect. I'm big on voices. Like, if
I'm about to say,
your
like,
voice is
what you wanna
higher than
hear?
mine, I'm sorry.
You want to hear that Barry
'Cause
White?
I have dated some dudes or talked to some dudes where we get on the phone and I'm just like, oh, you're like 2 octaves higher than me, sir.
Like, oh.
This is not going to work.
You're like, I'm good. That's part
Answer
of
the
my
phone.
requirement.
Yeah,
She
like
wanna
that
hear
sex
Barry White,
appeal
like,
is gone. Absolutely, yes.
what's
Hit
up?
me with that bass.
What's up, Maddie? How you doing?
I guess like audio numbers also play a role here with like who you decide to date or not.
Yup.
It's like, let me hook you up real
Like,
quick and
let me
measure.
are you in the red? It's a little bit too high for me.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you good. Good money.
No, but it's personal where I'm like, I want to talk to you. And if it shows the level of interest. Like if you're not asking to get my number so that we can talk further and actually like stop texting, actually get on the phone, have a phone conversation, because that's going to be the thing that leads to us wanting to meet in person or me feeling comfortable enough to meet you in person. We in New York, people are crazy. Like I'm just not down for meeting any old body because we exchanged a few text messages and it's just like, oh yeah, the texts were cool. And he was a serial killer. That happens.
Damn.
That's so true. But you know what I kind of like about what you're saying? It's like bringing back things that people used to do as part of dating.
The basics.
It's like bringing back the basics. The fact that like if you were meeting people in real life, you didn't need to think about, oh, we should probably talk on the phone because you'd already met them in real life.
True.
But I think that's why there's such a big fail rate with like online dating and modern dating is because some people don't even want to take the time to talk on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I will admit that I'm one of those people that, because I'm not vested, but it's weird because it's like a different sequence of events, right? So like you match, you're chatting online through text messages or whatever. And then eventually like the conversation comes up to like go on a date, but I'm not initially really vested that much. So like I won't necessarily be like, oh, let's talk on the phone. But if it's proposed, I will say, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. It would be cool to hear your voice.
Hey baby, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
But I think there has to be some sort of initiative, and just as part of like, if people are thinking about like, oh, you know, I've been on dates and like dating just isn't working for me, it's probably thinking about, well, what are the things that you're doing before you actually go on a date to make sure that you're properly vetting them and also assuring yourself that you even want to go on that date.
Exactly. Like if I'm just looking to fuck, then we don't need to talk on the phone. We don't need to spend all this time. It's just like, yo, what you doing tonight? You, what up?
What?
Keep it pushing. Like, but if I know what I'm looking for is something more serious and more committed, then I'm going to put in that time and I'm going to expect that they're going to put in that time also. Yeah. But again, if you're just trying to fuck, then please do not listen to anything that I'm saying.
Yeah, because then that's just like going back to like, oh, well, why are you wasting people's time?
Unless he has a high-pitched voice, and next thing you know, your lady boner goes down because his voice is higher than yours. If you're anything like me. Because that would turn me off. Like, your face is perfect, but sir.
Speaking of being turned off when trying to hook up or trying to fuck, so like one of my number rules, so this is beyond like just conversation. So I do have a minimum on the inches that you have on your penis.
Hey.
It's weird. Weird conversation.
How's that weird?
Having a conversation about dicks.
Yeah.
Well, when you say it like that about dicks.
Well, we're talking about like basically how numbers influence.
All right, so what's your number, Lena D?
So
let them know.
I have turned, like, I've kicked people out if their penis.
Yo, if you haven't listened to any of the past episodes, I just need y'all to understand. Lena D will kick you out with a quickness. And you know what? I'm gonna make a list of all the reasons that you kick people out. This is getting ridiculous. I'm up to like 7.
But anyway, I have kicked dudes out that their penis was like less than 5 inches.
Oh, geez. I guess that's like
okay.
the hard.
So
Wesley has a word count. Lena D busts out a ruler or a measuring tape to be like, you need to be. Nope, you didn't make it. Sorry.
Because the average penis size, I think, is between 5.5 and 6 or something. I forget what it is because it also varies by country. So I'm like, if you don't at least got
unless
5
you
inches.
In the Congo, because I think in the Congo it's like 7. Wakanda forever.
Wow.
Indeed.
So I'm like, if you don't at least got 5 inches on you, why am I messing with you? Leave.
You know, I had this conversation recently with a group of people.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
And I was the single person in the room. So I'm just like, this makes sense now. But my number is actually higher than yours.
What?
And speaking with another friend about this, he called me a size queen. I didn't know that was a thing.
There's a size queen thing?
Yes. So apparently I am a size queen because I have been lucky enough that the men that I have had sex with, back when I was having sex, back in my whole days.
Back in the day.
Back in time. That's the base that I need. Anyway. But I just always had gentlemen that were well endowed. And so that became my standard because that's what I was accustomed to.
But she used to.
And then I realized that's not a norm for a lot of women. So when I gave them my number, they were just like, who the hell are you having sex with? So I had to pull out some dick pics like this dude, and this dude. Like, it's a thing. They're like, oh. So I feel you on that. But I've also haven't experienced it to have I think there was one dude that was smaller than that, less than 5. And I was just like, okay, good day to you, sir.
Well, so I've had like more of a broader spectrum. So I've had probably I'm going to guess your minimum is like 7.5.
I have literally nothing to add
much
to this conversation right now.
I wouldn't say it's a minimum, but that's just the average that I've
so you'd
been blessed with.
You'd be like all day, Wakanda forever, in the Congo, all day, every day.
That's why I'm M'Baku's wife. Dear future husband. Hey.
Wow.
But I mean, I've had
I want celibate.
Wow.
Boom.
I've had the whole spectrum. And then that's when I realized, and I was like, well, 5.5 is like, that was okay. But there was also like some other skills like tongue game that was good. But then there's the risk that your tongue game isn't good. And then it's sub 5. And no, it's like, what the fuck am I doing with you? So I'll be like, boy, bye.
Yeah, all in all, like, you're failing.
Can we move on from this dick conversation right now? Like,
so, I mean, what's your dick size number, Wes? I'm just joking. I'm joking. The look on your face is everything, right?
Excuse me? They be wild buns disrespectful right now. I'm not appreciating this.
Okay. Fine.
Like, that's a consequence of you trying to, like, subdue the conversation.
Who said anything about subduing any conversation? Y'all talk about dicks, man.
I know, because dick numbers are important.
Like, why do you say dicks with so much force?
What do you mean?
Y'all talking about dicks right now. Like, damn.
Dicks are important.
So,
all right, cool. Dicks
and
are
their
important.
size does matter.
Oh, yo. I'm trying to
I feel like there's going to be
for the guys
so
out
many
there
dudes who have smaller penises.
See, that's what I'm trying to
gonna be like,
I'm
yo.
So
you're trying to tell me? No, there's somebody for everyone.
Wow. Well, we're talking about our rules. So Maddie and Lena D.
And again, I'm not going to, especially because I'm celibate now. Like, I think that is one of my fears. Where it's just like, yo, what if I fall for this guy and he's perfect in every other way? Wow. And then we finally have sex on our wedding night.
And
it's like
on soft. You're going to have an on soft penis forever.
Like, what can I teach you at that point to make up for that?
Nope. It's on soft forever.
It's like, looks like it's going to have to bring in some sex toys.
I'm just keep praying that I get the complete package.
Soft status
we'll hold
forever.
out hope.
But
what if
speaking
M'Baku
of-
had like a small penis?
That's not possible. He is of the Jabari tribe. Okay. They got it. But on that topic that y'all, this whole shenanigans, this was, would you say there's any topics, numbers related, that you would not broach with your partner? The first thing that comes to mind for me is body count.
I'll never do that.
I feel like don't ask, don't tell. I don't want to know your body count.
Ain't my
You don't
damn
want to know
business.
my body count.
That ain't my damn business.
One of us is going to feel away. So let's just not even bring that up.
Not my business.
That's just me.
So I think I used to care a lot about body count. Like I would want to know it, even though I wouldn't hold it against anybody. But I felt like it was like it contributed an interesting like dynamic to the conversations when we've talked about like experience and sex and what one person has done or enjoyed. Because I actually think that having a conversation with your partner, so this at this point isn't somebody you just started dating and you don't even know if you want to be with, but somebody that
you're in a committed relationship.
Once you're in a committed relationship or you're close to being in a committed relationship, I actually do think you can learn a lot about their sexuality and what they enjoy by having a kind of like a pseudo body count conversation and like actually talking about, well, if you've been with like 12 people, like which one's the like, at least these are the questions that I ask and I find it very guiding. It's like, if you've been with 12 people or whatever, or if you've been with X number of people, like which ones were your most memorable sexual experiences? So like, that's kind of how I take the body count conversation and sort of like take it in another direction.
I dig it without the numbers part. Like,
yeah,
just tell me about your most memorable sexual experience. And in all honesty, I probably don't even want to know that. I want to know what you like, what you don't like, but don't tell me about her and how she used to put her like leg behind her back. And all that. Like, sir, chill out. Because now you reminiscing, and if I see you texting somebody anytime after this conversation, like, hey, yo, Patrice, you remember what we? Nope, don't want to hear that. But considering that, would you say there's any numbers? Like, is there a number that you would hear? Or it'd be like, yo, what did I just get myself into?
Nah.
Nope.
No.
So for some reason you have a body count conversation. It's like, okay, so what's your number? And she's like, 87.
And?
Okay. I dig it. There are a lot of men that aren't like that. There are a lot of women that aren't like that.
I'm just cool.
I should have asked you before I said that.
Yeah, no, I think that like I would. So I guess it depends on when the body count conversation happens, because let's say it happens early when you haven't had sex yet. I think that I'm fine with whatever the body count is, but then I would want to make sure that we're both getting tested before we have sex.
There you go. And that's the point. That's it. Make sure you're healthy.
I feel like we getting tested regardless.
Well,
Yeah.
some people, you'd be surprised how many people don't think about it like
You're right.
that.
It's just like, oh. we've been
Or the
together
people
for
that
like-
feel like, oh, you've only been with 2 people? That's fine. We good.
It's-
Now you got the clap.
And then you're like, oh, you're the
Ew.
wrong 2 people. But
Pretty much.
But I do think that because you never know what people practice and don't practice before you.
Mm-hmm.
So like if they've been with 80 people and the last like 30 people, they haven't gotten tested, like that's a problem.
Word.
That's when you got to get tested.
I'm definitely more concerned with their practices. Like, did you always wrap it up? That's what I mean by practices. Fix your face.
Oh, damn.
Did you always wrap it up? Were you just hooking up with people that you met randomly, like the night of, that you would not even recognize if you saw them in the street? Like, if you're just randomly hooking up with people and you're not wrapping up, not getting tested, things like that matter to me. But how many people you've done that with? Nope, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I mean, but I can also agree with the fact that throughout the years, like body count has become less of like something that I care less to know.
Look,
Mhm.
we don't slut shame, all right? So what are we talking about?
It's not slut shaming.
I know.
I slut shame dudes all the time.
What? Why?
Because
ain't
you
shit.
a hoe.
Who? What?
I'm joking.
You a hoe too?
I'm a reformed hoe, so
Well,
get it right. I live righteously these days.
Righteously? I would have.
Okay, so along the same trend, what about number of exes? Does that matter?
No, I'm good.
You know, the one thing that I did care to know
Wow.
about, not the number of exes, but the number of months of your longest relationship.
Wait, why? Why is
That
that
I
even
do
like,
care about.
Why?
And that is something that I care to ask.
Why?
Now,
Why?
once you say that, I immediately understand. This one's confused.
Why? I'm
Please
confused.
explain it to
Yeah, what's the point?
to Wesley.
That person with you now. What did you care about?
Because it's a very good indicator of sort of the level of experience or maturity that person might have
And
with
commitment.
being in a long-term
They broke
committed
up.
relationship.
That's all the maturity you need.
No,
No.
because
Yeah.
if let's say we're in our early 30s now,
Yeah,
and you haven't had a relationship that's lasted past 3 months,
yeah.
That's the problem.
we got a problem.
All right. Well,
If
then
I'm
you're not
looking
supposed
for
to be with that
something
person.
real, and that's why she's saying that number matters.
So what?
So I don't care if you've had
3 months, 6 months, a
87
year,
exes.
5 years. We don't matter. That person wants to be with you.
It speaks to how much work you're going to have to put in. Because if you've never
Really?
made
You
it
think
past
so?
3 months, yeah. Because if you can't make it past 3 months with any of your exes, then it's a matter of commitment. Like, what is it about both of you? Because you're also identifying and dating people that you can't connect with beyond 3 months. So what was it about them, and what is it about you that you're not able to mesh with somebody for longer than that?
Sometimes they just don't like that.
By the
motherfucker.
time the 3 month mark hits and y'all broke up, you were already thinking about it at least a month before. Like, yo, why am I with this person? I'm so over this. So if you can't make it past 2 months, but barely anything happens in a relationship within the first 2 months. That's supposed to be the sweet spot, the honeymoon phase. We can't make it past that. Nah, we got a problem.
It's like, oh, you break it up after how much? Oh, okay. So what's going on? I think it's like a good gauge of commitment. So like, how committed can you be to somebody? And then 2, it's also just a way to get a better understanding of like whether that person is going to be prepared to be in your life for the long run, because it's easy to go in and out and date someone 3-4 months, whether you're doing it with different people or even with the same person that you're breaking up and getting back together.
Yeah.
But it says a lot, and it says a lot about whether you even want to invest those 3 months with that person, because you're not sure if you're going to really get the type of commitment that you're looking for. Yeah. So I think it's a good level set between both people. And then I think for people, like if you learn that somebody's been in a long-term committed relationship, it also tells you that there might be some things that you have to mentally be prepared to deal with, because you don't know where that other person is at in their mind space with whatever they had to deal with, like a 2 or 4 year relationship.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's still baggage. And so then it's a good way to just know and set expectations of, oh, okay, like you were with somebody for 2-4 years, and eventually you start to get some of the history. But then if you want to have somebody that's like problem free, like, oh, like I don't want any baggage, like that might be a deal breaker for someone that has to deal with somebody that was in a 4-year relationship.
Exactly. Or if it's soon after, well, no, because people harbor that mess for
Yeah,
a
sometimes
long
it
time.
takes time, like to go through it and stuff.
So it's related to your points. I'm more interested in how many of your exes you felt you were in love with. Because if you're telling me that you were in love with all of them, and it was like 17 of these women, how, Sway? Like, how were you in love with every single one? And when I say in love, not like you felt strongly for this person, but it's like, I thought she was the one. I thought she was the one too. And I thought she was the one too. Because it's like, yo, clearly you don't know what you're looking for, and you're trying to jump in too quick. So that, to me, it's like, it sends off red flags where it's just like, okay, this person is going to think that after 3 months that we're going to like start planning our wedding or something. So I'm going to need for you to tone it down.
Wow.
Bring it back, and let's have these conversations. Because I feel like that's a sign of immaturity. If you could, quote unquote, fall in love that easily.
Well, you could also easily fall out of love.
Exactly. If you can do it with every single ex, then it's just like something's wrong here. And especially if you're not able to identify that something is wrong, either with you or with her, or if it's always her.
Yeah,
Like,
makes
how many
sense.
of your exes are you blaming for why y'all broke up? That's
All
the
of 'em.
problem.
All of them.
Nah, that bitch was crazy.
Yep.
And then that chick had this problem.
Yup.
And this one was mad because I was on my phone.
Yep.
And she was mad because I showed up late one time. It's
Yeah, but it's true. All ladies crazy.
So
You
you
need
never
to
did
stop.
nothing wrong?
I didn't do nothing wrong. A damn
right.
thing. I didn't do shit. I showed up on time. I was a good gentleman. I gave her constant sex. I ate the vagina out just the way she wanted me to. And I cooked the food and cleaned up after myself.
I made sure
What you
that my
want?
dick was within the parameters that she requested.
Yeah. I made sure that I put baby oil on that bitch to make it look shiny and shit.
Nobody wants to ask your dick. Who does?
Gotta lotion it up.
I would say if you put baby oil on your penis, please explain to me why. But then I don't want no DMs with some dick pics like, look, Maddie. No, please. No.
Look, man, it's a shiny dick. Look at my shiny dick.
The balls are shiny too.
Look at the balls. The balls are shiny too. I shaved them shit just for you.
Like, damn, that really is a shiny dick.
Look at the curve on that bitch.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that was the baby oil with the cocoa butter in it. Wow.
I go hard in the pull.
That shit is glistening.
Yeah.
Did you use a filter on that?
Ain't no filter. This is all shiny.
But no,
I'm the shiny suit man, literally.
Serious tip. I think it worries me when someone is just like, yeah, I loved her. I loved her too.
See, that's why I got an ice box where my heart is.
What?
Shut up.
Only thought for one person.
And I think that's another point. It's just like, so you didn't love none of them?
I don't love none of them.
Like
So
that,
you were
it's
in
like,
a long-term
oh,
relationship
Okay.
and you were like, nope. It's like, okay.
Nah, I'm a
We-
Marion in this bitch.
We don't even need to talk at that point. Like,
Nah, man.
it
I'm a
was
Marion.
really nice meeting you.
Got a
It's
ice
like, I'm not
box.
here to be teaching you how to like be
No.
vulnerable and love somebody.
Hell no, I ain't trying to hear
Nope,
that.
not here for that.
I'm not here for that.
I'm not here to try to repair your problems. I'm not trying here. No, I'm just not doing it. Like,
got a ice box
if it's
where
something
my
mutual
heart used
and it's
to
something
be.
light, we could work on that.
Got
'Cause
a
all
ice
relationships are gonna
box
need
where
work,
my
but
heart
If I have to
used
teach you
be.
how to be a person, nah, fuck out of here.
You gotta be on the same page with anything. And it's like
Sure.
some of these number things actually do matter. Like
I think so.
like it's important to get into it and at least see if you guys have some common ground, because sometimes it's hard to gauge what common ground you do have, because it's like you said, the honeymoon phase, and like people are just like, oh my God, like I love spending time with this person, oh my God, they're hot, this and that. But then there's like stuff when it gets down to like, oh well, you haven't like actually been in a committed relationship, or oh, you have no one that you've ever fell in love with. Like, have you ever been vulnerable? All this stuff. So it's
No.
I want to know what love is.
I want to learn for the first time.
Yes. Remix. We did warn y'all before this episode started.
I want to know what love is.
So back to like,
I want you to show.
oh Wesley, stop. This is not American Idol.
No.
Every single time.
I'm about to have that song on repeat.
But anyway, we've said like some of these things, like these number based questions and some things that come attached to like meeting somebody new.
Mhm.
We do see value in them. But then how do we feel about assigning value to someone based on like numbers that describe them? So for example,
Like 0 to 100?
no, like basically how much money they make.
Oh.
So like placing value on like their income level, or even taking it a step further and sort of determining whether you want to be with someone based on their difference in income versus yours.
I don't care about nothing about that. You fine, you treat me right, I'm good.
I feel like it's always easier for
That's a
guys
bonus.
to say that.
Because I make my own shit. Do what I want.
I'm grown.
I'm grown. I'm a daddy. I'm grown.
I'll say honestly, if you don't, I'm just joking. No.
Wow. She would say, if you don't make
If you don't make at
$75,000 a year,
At least
you can't even come talk to me.
don't even bother trying to match with me. Like, nah, just chill. No, I'm joking. And it's because I'm grown and I make my own money that I don't have that requirement, nor do I feel like it's right to try to determine somebody's value based on that. Because, and I think we've kind of talked to this before, but if you're a teacher and you're passionate about what you're doing, and we all know teachers are grossly underpaid.
Yeah.
I'm not going to not date you.
Check out these strikes.
Or feel like you're quote unquote below me because I make 2-3 times what you're making.
Man, I've heard people say that too. Weird.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. I've never heard, I don't know. She on a new level though.
So you have met someone who's,
I met the person. I never like dated that person, but I don't know. She said some stuff that I was on it.
Wait, what was said?
Oh, like she was like, "Oh, this person's beneath me. I'm good."
Those exact words. This person's beneath me.
You need to go away.
How dare you?
Exactly.
That's the type of person you can't mush her because it's a female.
Nah,
and if you mush her, I gotta fight you. But
fight you.
Even if she says that's when you call your girl cousin and be like, "Handle this."
It's like that person over there.
So,
hope she's not listening to this, by the way.
I don't care.
She probably is.
Excuse me, ma'am. You need to get it together.
Yeah, she messed up. She messed up for that one. Lena D ain't got no comments. She can't say nothing, but I can because I hate the girl. I hate her guts. So I don't give a fuck.
No,
I'm weird like that.
Well, in that case,
I don't give a fuck.
That's just why. Like not like
he messy as fuck.
It's not the way to like think about the value of people. Like I think it's the value someone brings is inherent in like, again, like what you guys share an interest or what they do and like stuff that you find interesting about them. But I don't know. I've never really cared to know like, oh, how much do you make? It's come up in conversation like years later, or like it's never been like the first thing that I ask about. And then usually it doesn't really impact like how I see the person. It's just more like, oh, okay, well, that's different. I thought you made more, but whatevs. So like, It's kind of like sometimes even how somebody carries themselves has nothing to do with like how much they're actually making.
Definitely not.
Exactly.
Because the person you were just talking about probably makes a shit ton of money and she ain't shit. So
if you hear that person that Wesley was talking about, you ain't shit. And if I catch you in these streets, I'm going to do nothing because I'm really nonviolent.
That's a lie, by the way. I've known her for years.
If you say something reckless, but that's the extent of it.
Such a lie, but okay. We'll leave it.
And if you hit me, I'm calling the cops.
Wow. You touch me, I'll sue.
I've learned from the white folk.
And another related topic, sort of, so like just how we can't assign personality and what people actually bring to the table to how much they make. I think age is another one where some people carry themselves at their age and some people don't.
I know Aaliyah said age ain't nothing but a number, but
this is the same person that married R. Kelly though, and R. Kelly ain't shit either. Allegedly. I'm gonna get sued in this bitch. Allegedly. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. Like, it's alleged.
I'm not even gonna front.
Oh man, Alexa, you ain't shit too. Anyway, I'm not editing that shit out.
Can't handle the R. Kelly question.
Alexa was just like, "What the fuck?"
She's like, "I want no parts in this."
Yeah. So I'm not editing that out. So
nah, but for real though, I'm not gonna front. I do my filter. Like if we're talking about dating online and the apps. My age filter is very narrow. Because
you're like between 30 and 31.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
like, how'd you know?
Creep. No, and maybe as I'm getting older, I've expanded it a little bit towards.
Sorry, 31 and a half. My bad.
Now it's 30 and a half to 32. Okay, get it together. Yes, I count half birthdays.
I love half birthdays.
I celebrate them, but nobody ever wants to celebrate with me because apparently you have to be 6 years old for that to count. Yeah, but whatever, I'm grown.
I think we should do it.
This year. Let's go. my half birthday passed, but we could make it happen anyway.
Wow.
That's the quarter birthday.
Yes.
A quarter away.
We about to go to Magnolia's and put a candle up in this bit.
Hell no.
But no, like I don't know. There's just something about older guys that are much older than me that skeeves me out. Where it's like, if I was in elementary school and you were in high school, college, I feel uncomfortable. Like I'm just, nah.
Okay.
Because if we were younger, then that age difference is still as pronounced. So it's like, why is it that now I'm in my 30s and you're in your early 40s, where it's just like, oh yeah, no, this is fine. Like, nah, it's still creepy. We're still in different. This is personally. Yeah. Now I've met people who are in those relationships that have a huge age difference, and I'm just like, y'all were meant for each other. You were just born in different decades, but I love your relationship. I haven't met that guy that's
You're not
significantly older than me. No, I feel like they're not there.
I feel like I hear
they
this
don't
all.
Exist.
No. This is what I hear. I feel like I hear this all the time. And then you mention this one name, and they're like, "I would do that," and I say Idris Elba, and look at all y'all eyes lit up.
Oh, I would.
I know she's thinking Morris Chestnut. Look at you.
No.
Oh damn.
Y'all think I'm playing?
Yeah, I think.
No, she ain't.
Where it's a matter of like, okay, eye candy, but to sit down and have a deep relationship, because I just feel like, what are we connecting on? We're going to be in different phases in our life. And
hey man, Rich, you need to chill. Stop thinking about.
Clearly, Idris Elba is not trying to get at me, and I already told you that money is not a number, like is not a factor.
So you wouldn't go for the Jamaican guy who just happens to like speak in that like English accent? You wouldn't go for that. You wouldn't go for that.
The fuck does that have to do with anything?
Man,
probably not.
You ain't shit.
Wait, why am I not shit?
You ain't shit.
Because I'm not gonna date a Jamaican man with an English accent.
No, I'm saying you ain't shit because like I feel like when you meet him, you're gonna be like, you know
if
what?
It's a Jamaican
I would
man
fucking
with
do it
with an English accent, and he's 47 and has
you know
never
his
been
age?
married.
Wait a minute,
because I'm talking about the age difference that would make me uncomfortable. It's the age difference for me. So it's like, you're that much older than me. You've never been married, no kids, never any like serious committed relationship.
You definitely got committed,
and we're on the same page.
Yeah, for real.
Something's not right here. Like there's chill.
He got a young mindset.
You're like, does not compute.
Exactly.
He's young in spirit.
There's a 404 error up in this bitch. Like
he's young in spirit. He's got an aging 401k.
And I've talked to dudes where it's just like, I find out after the fact, like we've had great conversation, we've connected, and it's just
I'm
like,
51.
okay, you're cool. And then they hit me with the, oh yeah, I'm 43. Okay. Bye. And I got 2 kids in a past relationship.
Hey.
Oh. Damn. And my baby mama crazy. Okay, see, there we go. There we go. Ahead. Keep telling me what other dirt you got. And that's the thing, like the older you are, the more dirt you have. Where it's like, I'm not trying to deal with all that. Now you talk about trying to pick out a high school for your child. Sir, no, I'm not here for this. I'm not ready to be anybody's
Sound like somebody been through this before. Anyway.
I haven't. I've heard stories though.
You're like,
stories are great.
I don't need personal experience in this particular area.
Not at all.
See, I don't think that I've done the whole like dating someone that was 12 years older than me and stuff at one point. Man, I was cool with it. Like we weren't in the same like walks of life at the point, but I wasn't
You were in first grade when he was graduating from high school.
Yeah, you nasty.
I mean, it was good though, but
you still nasty as hell.
Notice I did say you nasty, but you did speak to my point where it's like y'all weren't at the same place in life.
Nasty girl,
but I wasn't looking for that at the time.
You nasty girl, you nasty.
Oh my why are you thinking throughout this whole episode?
You talk about us like you worse.
I'm trying to talk about us.
But I do think that this is an interesting conversation. It's kind of like, yeah, obviously there's going to be different levels that you connect at, and like. That's with anybody that's even like 1 or 2 years younger or older than you, or somebody that's your same age. But it's interesting that for you, like that difference of like taking it without the spectrum of time and saying, when I was XYZ age, I was doing this, but you were doing this. And that just gives you a different perspective on like how you could possibly not even really connect with that person is interesting, because other people don't, like, at some point other people either don't think about that, which is what's in my case. I was like, I wasn't thinking about, like, what were you doing when I was 10 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was getting married for the first time. The fuck?
But then other people are, I think, they go through that process and decide that their connection is strong enough that they're going to, like, set that aside, kind of thing. At least that's a theory. But it'd be interesting to talk to somebody that is in one of those, like, age difference relationships.
With my luck, I'm going to end up with somebody who's like 23 years older than me.
Hey.
And I'm going to find out after the fact.
That's right.
And it's going to be like, damn, fuck.
As long as you're packing above 7.5, I guess you good.
I mean, okay, that's just an average. So, of course, we can have higher than average or below average, but not too much below average. That's all I ask for. I'm not going to bust out a measuring tape and be like, oh, no, sir. Because I could eyeball it and be like, oh, I see what that is.
Wow.
No, but we definitely want to hear your thoughts on this, on any of your hard no's, any of your input on anything that we talked about today. But thanks so much for joining. It was great talking to you guys today.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Later.